every human being has some sort of goal. And the funny part is a lot of people have the same goals. A lot of them center around money. A lot of them center around their family. A lot of them center around themselves. Being successful, being in a position to provide for other people, or being in a position to be provided for if you're a woman. The truth is, though, everybody has the same goals. And a lot of people set these goals at a younger age. Me, for example, when I was 14, I remember writing in a notebook, I'm going to become a millionaire 100 times on like front and back pages. I remember doing that. And a lot of people don't set the goal that early, but a lot of people by the time they're 20 have the thought, oh, it would be nice to have a lot of money. I think that's a goal. If you're like, oh, I would want to have that, that's a goal. The truth is, as you go on and you advance through life, maybe you set the goal to become a millionaire at 16, and now you're 22 and nothing really has happened in your life. You're not making 10K per month. You're not in a position where you can provide for anyone. You're barely fending for yourself. You can barely afford rent. A lot of people, when they're in that position, they're like, dang, I set this goal 8 years ago. I set this goal when I was 16. And now I still don't have it. They start to get discouraged. They start to think, oh, will I ever get it? I haven't gotten it already. Will I ever get it? Like, truthfully, a lot of people think that, especially if they don't see progress. The truth is, you just haven't looked at your life enough. And I realized this a few days ago. Actually, I realized it today. That's why I'm making this video. I set the goal of being a millionaire at 16. And every single day since I set that goal, I have worked towards it. A few months ago, I was thinking, dang, why am I not progressing? Why am I not making $100,000 per month? And today I sat here and I looked around at my life. I was sitting in my back porch by the pool, surrounded by 8 guys who all make a fuck ton of money. There was 2 guys who were practicing boxing. There was 1 guy sitting next to me who made $10,000 today on one crypto trade. There was another guy next to him who runs a clothing e-commerce brand. Another guy that's a fitness coach. Another guy that runs an agency. And I was sitting there. I just had my biggest month ever in my life for my clothing brand. And I was sitting here thinking I wasn't moving towards my goals and I was discouraged. The truth is, you are living in an answered prayer. If you look hard enough at your life, you are actively inside of something you asked for years ago. Maybe you just forgot you asked for it. That's why it doesn't feel so special. And what I'm challenging you to do is remember that time when you set the goal to be the millionaire. Set the goal to provide for something. Set the goal, this massive goal. I want you to take yourself back to that moment. Feel that energy that you felt when you placed it and you set it. And realize how far you have came. One awesome trick I have learned, and this is the last thing I'm going to talk about. Instead of measuring how far you are away from the goal, measure how far you have came. So instead of me looking, okay, I'm like this far, I'm far as fuck away from being a millionaire. Look how far you came. I'm far as fuck away from where I started. And that gives you a place of being like, dang, I'm living in something I asked for. And once you're able to do that, then you take the next step and then it becomes a snowball of progress. So yeah, follow my IG, follow the Instagram, follow the YouTube. And if you have questions, just DM me. Peace.